CBS News contributor Bob Schieffer is with us now from Washington. So, Bob, let me ask you, what do you see in this Cruz-Fiorina pairing?
Well, I think it might be a little bit late, quite frankly. Here's someone who's been mathematically eliminated from getting a majority of the delegates before the convention opens, and now he is named as running mate. I mean, candidates do that from time to time. Ronald Reagan did that when he challenged Gerald Ford in 1976. Ford prevailed at that convention. But you know, who knows what happens here. I think the one last chance that the anti-Trump forces believe that they have is in Indiana, which is the next primary up. And so Cruz is pulling out all the stops. I wonder now, is Jeb Bush going to name a running mate? And what about all the others that have left us, you know, have no chance of being nominated? But, you know, this is politics, and it is what it is. But quite frankly, I don't think it'll have much of an impact.
All right. Well, Bob, let me ask you what you made of Trump's foreign policy speech. You know, there was a lot of talk about what it is that we would be hearing from Mr. Trump. And this was obviously a different kind of setting and forum than we've seen before. This was not some large hangar with thousands of people. It was a much different setting.
And he had his friend Mr. Teleprompter on either side. This is apparently he's been really practicing a lot to use the teleprompter. I thought the speech was fine. Again, like so many of the things that he outlines, he has a lot of details to fill in on this. You know, I mean, going back to, you know, we are going to build that wall. Well, how are you going to do that? And how are you going to get the Mexican government or whoever it is down there that you're going to get to pay for it? So much of the time when Donald Trump rolls out these projects and proposals, whether they're on teleprompter or just sometimes I think off the top of his head, it always prompts the follow-up question, how are you going to do that? So I think, again, but, I mean, you know, he is trying to at least be serious about it this time around. And so, you know, Donald Trump has to be taken seriously, as I think the establishment Republicans are now being forced to do. There are a lot of them that thought, you know, that they might be able to stop him from getting the number of delegates he needs to get a majority before he goes into the convention. After this blowout that he pulled off last night, where at last report, Elaine, I think he won every single county in 5 states last night. Now, you know, I don't know if those numbers are going to hold up, but the last time I checked, he had won every single one of them. He won places like Montgomery County, which is in the Washington suburbs. Well, you know, Montgomery County is the home to a lot of these establishment Republicans that he's running against. Yet he won and won handily there. Fairfield County, Connecticut, where a lot of the elites who work on Wall Street, the people that he, you know, is going to take care of and, you know, straighten out. He carried Fairfield and carried it handily. Bucks County, Pennsylvania, which is always a bellwether state. I think he got close to 60% of the vote there. I tell you what has finally settled in on these establishment Republicans. He is going to be at the top of the Republican ticket. I mean, it looks like almost certainly now that that's going to happen. If they can figure out a way to stop him in Indiana, and this would be what Ted Cruz is trying to do, and obviously the reason he rolled out Cruz-Fiorina today and all of that, they do have a chance here. But it's looking more and more like he's going to have the delegates he needs by the time he gets there. And, you know, what these establishment Republicans, especially the elected Republican officials in Washington, are so worried about is they're afraid when you look at his negatives. I mean, it's, you know, he's up to 60-some-odd% of general election voters just don't like him. They're worried that he's not only going to doom their chance to recapture the White House, but that it might take down some of the people that are running for re-election in the Senate. And I asked one senator today, a Republican senator, I said, well, if you can't stop him and if you resign yourself to the fact he's going to be at the top of the ticket, what's your strategy now? And he said to get out there starting this weekend, raising as much money as we can for our Senate candidates. He said, you know, if we do lose the White House, we got to really make sure now, and it's more important than ever, not to lose our majority in the Senate. So that's how they're thinking about things. This was a blowout for Donald Trump last night, and I mean, he really racked them up. And when you can go through 5 counties and not lose a single one, that's fairly remarkable. What it tells you, Elaine, is that he is no longer just the candidate of the frustrated, the angry, the fed up, the people with less education in the rural areas that were kind of the core of his support in the very beginning. He is managing now to appeal to people all across the party. He won in every group, the rich, the poor, you know, so on and so on. I mean, it was a very convincing win that he had last night. At least that's what Republicans are telling me, and they're not particularly happy about it.
All right. Bob Schieffer from Washington for us. Bob, thanks so much for your time.
Okay, Elaine, good to see you.